direction for they don't have a direction for their bread. They only know how to spend it, but not direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the first person on who's on this call. She is actually she is within the family of I Am itself, but not even an I Am thing. We need to break this down. When you're talking about somebody who stayed in the background for many months, didn't put herself out in the front, but she understood that she had a gift of helping others. Now, in this gift of helping others, she also understood that I can help somebody with my words, right? But I need to help people out with the thing that we're all connected to, and that's money. That is a level of discipline and grace that this individual had to now have the confidence to say for herself, now I'm going to partner with an agency, get good at what I'm doing, and then turn around and help out the community. This is the true understanding of being in the trading space of us called I Am, and then getting new skills and giving it back to the fam. Like, drop a 7 if this makes sense. This is powerful. She didn't leave the family to do whatever. She sought out new skills that she can provide value back. I'm not saying that she's not the smartest of crypto. I'm not saying that she doesn't know how to trade. That's not what I'm saying at all. But she understood that God gave her a gift of servitude. And she said, I need to serve my community in a very unique way. So now she went out, got certified, lives in Florida, travels the world. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you guys, introduce you guys to the very first person of tonight who's going to just talk to you guys about a lot of things. What to do with your trading after you're done. Ways you can move your money in different ways. What she does so you guys can now get connected. This is a certified financial advisor. This is a CPA, y'all. This is certified, right? Ladies and gentlemen, please drop some hearts in the chat. And I want to flood the chat, like destroy the chat, because the information that she is going to provide today is going to take your trading to the next game. It's now when you make those big withdrawals, you now know you have ideas of where you can put your money to it so it can circulate back to you the way you want to. Family, drop some hearts in the chat for Miss Karina Cruz. Miss Karina, thank you so much. Love you, sis. I'm going to sit back around. I got my notes out. I'm ready to go to get the gems. I appreciate you so much, and let's get it.
Much love, much love, much love. My brother, drop a 5 everyone can hear me. Man, it is absolutely a blessing as people continue to roll in. Man, I'm excited. It's honestly a blessing to be here with you guys. 10 o'clock for some people and 9 o'clock for others. I saw some people in the car, some people at work, really just putting yourselves in position for the information, for the knowledge, and that's really what it takes to be successful. Just position yourself in front of the right things. And Aaron is one of those people that no matter what, through everything and anything, he's going to go ahead and always put people in position. So I appreciate you for putting this together, helping putting this together, taking the time, and just seeing the value of the information that we have. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Karina. I've actually been with I Am at least 3 years in April. 3 years in April. Absolutely. I love I Am. I'll probably never leave. No matter what I do, I'll probably never leave. It's honestly one of the best educational investment platforms in the world. I'm sure a lot of you can attest to that. It's the whole reason that you're still here. And it's been a journey. It's honestly been a journey. So, and I know people, can anyone else relate to me when I say, has anyone ever made a lot of money and then lost it? All right, drop a 6 that you made money and then lost it, whether it be losing in the markets or losing it, just maybe different situations happen in life. And it's just like, damn, you could never just get over that peak. You could never just could never just catch a break. It was just different things kept happening. And it was just like, dang, all right, just like that, whatever I made is just gone. Right? I know we have that feeling because that's life, right? No matter how much money we make, no matter what happens in our life, that's life. That's gonna happen. Things are gonna happen. But what can we start to do to get prepared? Right? The title of this call, right, is Money 101, right? Money 101, the info you need to build real generational wealth. The only difference, I'll tell you this, the only difference between the rich and wealthy and low and middle class is nothing but knowledge and information and application, right? They just know a little more things and are applying certain things differently than what the masses are, than what the 90% of people are. And, you know, a lot of people kind of sit down and have money conversations, but maybe we're just having the wrong money conversations, right? The real generational curse isn't the job. It's not, you know, maybe the community that we live in. It's really just the mindset and the knowledge that we don't have. So, you know, a couple months ago, I made a lot of money. One situation happened, I lost it all over again. And I said, you know, rich and wealthy people can't be living like this, right? What do people really do? And think with me. To be really, really great at something, like, you need a coach. Honestly, you need a coach. You look at like an NBA player, an NFL player. All right, let's count. Off rip, they have 3 coaches, right? They have the head coach, the assistant coach, and another assistant coach. They have trainers. They have you play basketball, they have shooting coaches, right? You have defensive coaches. You have strength and conditioning coaches. You have all of these coaches just to be great at one thing, just to be great at one sport, right? If you really want to be great at something, you got to find a coach. You have to find someone that has some type of specialized knowledge. You want to be great at finances, having a coach help, right? Bodybuilders, they get coaches. That's the whole reason we have different types of trainers, life coaches, things like that. So I was in a situation where I need to find a coach. So I recently got connected. Well, not recently. It's been a little while now. But with honestly one of the best in the game. One of the best in the game is Chris Muzan. He's been doing this 10+ years, him and his wife. When we talk about specialized knowledge, this is that, right? We're going to be talking about things like taxes, budgeting, savings. Honestly, clearly we know how to make money, right? We're in IM. You understand how to make money. You literally understand how to create money at will. But once you do that, now what do we do with it? What are our options once we kind of go ahead and make that money and really begin to create a foundation for us financially, so that no matter what happens, you're going to know how to be able to jump right back. And you're not always going to have to go ahead and start back at square one, square zero even. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to my guy, Chris. Go ahead and drop some hearts in the chat for him as well. Like I said, he's been doing this 10+ years, extremely knowledgeable. If you don't have your pens out already, please do. If you have any questions, please write them down. We will for sure have a Q&A after this, because I know some questions are going to arise after we bring certain things to your attention. Because you might have heard these things before, but it's going to be explained in a different way than you might not have ever heard it. So without further ado, I want to give him as much time as possible. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Chris. Feel free to take it away.
Karina, I appreciate you. Drop some more hearts in the chat for Karina and Aaron for throwing this and getting you guys into a place where you can learn more about money. Karina, I just want to publicly just applaud you for your hard work. We've been working together now for a little bit of time, and you've been crushing it. Again, you come in hungry, ready to learn, ready to go out and have that servant heart, that heart that goes out and says, you know what, I want to help more people understand this. You've grasped the mission, you've grasped the financial concepts, and now you're going to make a huge difference in the world. So kudos to you, Karina. Just want to publicly applaud you for the hard work and stuff that you're putting in. People don't know this, but you're putting in the work behind the scenes, and it's definitely going to pay off for you. Definitely going to pay off. So super proud of you. What's up to everybody here on the call? Excited to be with all of y'all tonight. I got a little bit of time with y'all. Again, I'm Chris Muzan, your financial coach, financial planner, financial therapist. That's what I often say, because this money thing runs deep, ladies and gentlemen. This money thing runs deep. I don't know fully who everyone is on the call, but I know that y'all have touched some money, been around some money, talk about money, right? You're trading, you're doing some things. So trust me, I understand what it's like to be in the money space. This, Karina just told you, this is all me and my wife have done for about the past 10 years. I haven't had a job in 9.5 years. All I do is get a chance to teach people this money game. Once we learned it, We said, man, this is important for other people to know. And there's such a demand for what we do in the world that it allows us to create a great lifestyle for ourselves. And we get a chance to meet great people, train people like Karina. But tonight we're here. I'm just going to drop all the gems for you. I'm going to give you everything that you need to know to make sure that you can put yourself in a position to build wealth. Putting yourself in a position to build wealth is the key, because I don't know if anyone on the call grew up wealthy or had wealthy parents or came from a trust fund or anything of that nature. If so, kudos to you, right? I'm sure you have your own struggles and your own things that you deal with, but I'll speak from myself, kid born and raised in West Philly, single parent household, right? Just had to learn it like everybody else had to learn it. We didn't get the same privileges. And most importantly, we didn't get the same education around money that other people have gotten. Most of us, and most of you on this call, if I asked you the question, who taught you money? Who taught you money? Drop it in the chat. Answer that question for me. Who taught you money? Like, if you really think about it, who taught it? All right, dad, mom, parents a bit. Parents, I see parents dropping in there. That's it. I often say this. We get our financial habits from our parents and our peers. And now on the internet, you might join a good company, right? Parents, society, and family. That's it, right, Sierra? The scene says she figured it out herself. That's most of us. That's most of us. This is common. Look at this. All of us in the chat, we learn money the exact same ways. We learn it from our parents. We learn it from our peers, the people we get around. We now learn it from the internet, social media. We also just figure it out ourselves through our experiences and the things that we're trying to get to, right? So if all of us are getting the same information from the same groups of people and none of them are wealthy, how do we expect to build wealth? How do we expect to really have the blueprint to be able to build wealth if our parents aren't wealthy? We love our parents, right? I love my mom, but she could only take me to the place that she's gone. She can't take me beyond that. She only could feed me to the level that she was fed. She could only give me money knowledge to the place that she knew money. And my mom worked a job, right? So now I'm an entrepreneur. So our money mindsets are completely different. So I had to learn money. But the way I learned money is I got around wealthy people. I got in the industry and I started learning it from the inside out. I said, well, let me jump in the industry. Let me start learning this. Got around some really good people, started to really understand money, understand how this game of money works, because that's what this is. Money is a game. If you understand the rules of how to play the game, you'll win. If you don't know the rules, you're not going to win the game, no matter what you do. So I started learning the rules. And once I started learning the rules, I got better with the money. And once we get better with money, then we can go off and do more things with money. But the things that I've learned, and this is going to be the thesis of today, ladies and gentlemen, exactly what we're talking about today. The reason I realized why people don't build wealth, is because they don't have a proper foundation to build it on. Aaron said something, right, about getting money, multiplying money, growing it, giving a direction. That's great insight. That's the goal. But just like building a house, you could dream up the biggest mansion that you want. You could dream up every single thing that you want in that house. The kitchen, the bathroom, the backyard, all the nice, pretty stuff. You can do all that and draw it up and you could build it. But if that house does not have a strong foundation, as soon as there's a hurricane, as soon as there's some rock shifting, as soon as there's some bad weather, that house is going to tumble down. Same thing with your money. Same thing with our money. Many people, and some of you on this call, have made a bunch of money. You might not have kept all that money, right? You make a bunch, you lose a bunch. Life is cyclical. It's up and down. You know people that make a bunch of money and then you come back 10 years later, they don't have that money. Why? Because they didn't have a foundation to build on. They didn't have an actual foundation. That's what I'm going to give you guys tonight, is the blueprint of how to get an actual foundation for your money, so then you can go off and build anything you want and build wealth. So this is no taking time. I'm going to drop a bunch. We'll do some Q&A on the back end if you have questions, right? We'll spend some time at the very end talking a little bit about what's important to you. but take these notes down. I'm going to give you financial concepts. I'm going to give you financial concepts that are going to absolutely bless your life. And if you take these concepts, and you actually go off and you apply them, you'll be able to build wealth. You'll be able to build wealth. Let's start. First concept, your financial independence number. Here's a question, ladies and gentlemen, you might not know. Drop it in the chat. What does it take to be in the top 1% of all income earners here in America? You live here in the United States. How much income do you need to make every year to be in the top 1% of all income earners here in America? Drop it in the chat. Drop your guess. Drop your guess in the chat. How much income do you need coming in on a yearly basis to put you in the top 1% of all income earners here in America? Aaron said 500. Somebody said 1 million, 250, 5 million, at least 1 million, 700,000. We got million, 7 figures. If you Google that number, Aaron hit it pretty close. The number's about $523,000. $523,000 a year puts you in the top 1% of all income earners in America. Let's pause for a second and think about that, ladies and gentlemen. 99% of people that live here in America do not make more than $523,000 a year. So I know everyone on this call would like to go off and make millions and billions and trillions of dollars. Please understand that 99% of people will not go off and do that. 99% of people will not get into the top 1%. So just understand, we will all have goals and all have visions of what we want to make happen. That's a great thing. But now we actually have to do that. And we have to understand that that top 1%, somebody put it in there, a lot more attainable than we think. It's not that far off. We know people that make that type of money. It's not that far off. It's not that far off for any of you. Here's what I teach people as a financial coach. By the way, just some clarification on language. There's a difference between a financial coach. There's a difference between a financial planner. There's a difference between a financial advisor. All of those three people are different in the financial space. Your advisor, if you get a financial advisor, ladies and gentlemen, their job is to put you in the market, grow your investments, look at your risk, grow your money, manage your money. That's what they're there to do. They're there to tell you, hey, these are good investments. These are good stocks. Here's how you shift your portfolio. That's what they're going to talk to you about. Try to make sure that you have something good that they can put in the market that can continue to grow and be there for you down the line. That's what an advisor typically does. You slide down that scale, you're at a financial planner. A financial planner actually plans for your financial life. You sit down with them, you say, these are my goals. I'd like to buy a boat. I'd like to have a house. I'd like to do this. And they're going to start planning for you and say, hey, these are some of the areas that you're going to want to start thinking about money or putting money or look at these types of investments. They're going to plan your financial life for you. Then you have your financial coach. That's what Karina and I are, right? We're your financial coaches. What do? Is we look at your entire financial picture. We get the vision of what you want to make happen and where you want to go. And then we put a plan in place to make sure that you can do that. But we stick with you, just like Karina said, like a coach. Every great player needs a great coach. So we're going to stick with you to coach you down the path of how to actually go do the thing you said you want to do. A lot of this, ladies and gentlemen, will come with fixing our money mindset, right? An advisor is not going to fix your mindset. They're just going to tell you what to do for the market. The coach, us, we're going to come in and say, hey, who taught you money? Maybe that's why you think about money the way you do. Maybe your mom told you money doesn't grow on trees, and maybe you believe that still subconsciously. Maybe that's why you can't seem to save money. Maybe that's why you save a bunch of money and are super frugal and you don't know how to go invest it because you think it's too hard to get. Maybe because that's how you were raised. So that's what we're going to come in and do. We're going to come in and really dive in so you can understand yourself and understand money. Money's tied to our emotions. Warren Buffett says, if you can't control your emotions, you can't control your money. Say that one more time. If you can't control your emotions, you can't control your money. That's what we come in and do. But here's some financial concepts for you to know. This thing called a financial independence number. If you've never thought about what it is the total amount of money that you would need to live your life and be free, financially independent. There's a number you can get to. Here's how you find that number. You take your yearly spending and you divide it by what they call a safe withdrawal rate. What a safe withdrawal rate is just an interest rate that you think you can get consistently on your investment. That's what a safe withdrawal rate is. Is there an interest rate that you think you can get pretty consistently? So here's some numbers on that. Let's say you live $100,000 a year lifestyle, or you want to live $100,000 a year lifestyle. Let's say that, right? That means every year you're spending to live your life, to travel, to have housing, food, all that stuff, costs you $100,000 a year. And let's say you can always get 5% interest. Y'all are traders, right? Y'all can get into the game where you can get 5% interest, right? You know how to do that. If you can get 5% interest and you live $100,000 a year lifestyle, well, your financial independence number is $2 million. That means if you have $2 million sitting in an account that's getting you 5% interest, and you just take 5% interest every year, you're going to take $100,000 out of that 2 million. The 2 million never goes down, and you're financially free for the rest of your life, living $100,000 a year lifestyle. That's simple. There's a number. Yeah, Aaron, yeah. That's how you do it. Let's make it simpler. You don't want to live $100,000 a year lifestyle. That's cool. Maybe you want to live a $40,000. Maybe you're frugal. Maybe you want to live a $40,000 a year lifestyle. You don't need a lot. Well, if you got 5% in an account, all you need is $800,000. You put $800,000 over there, you get 5% interest, and you take 5% every year. You take your 40,000, you're financially free. Basic math. But do we know it? Right? Do we know, or are we just shooting for billions, which is great, but we can put a number to this thing. And the key to getting to any goal, ladies and gentlemen, is clarity. I work with people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s. And a lot of times I'm asking them the question, how much do you need to retire? And they have no idea. That's why they'll never retire. That simple. You want to be financially free? Get to a number. We'll figure it out. You can figure out how many years it'll take you to. If you take that amount that you already have saved, divided by your yearly saving, take that financial independence number, divided by how much, or subtract how much you already have saved, but divide that by your yearly spending or your yearly saving, how much you could save every year. It'll tell you how long it'll take you to get to that number. So if 2 million was your number and you save 50 grand a year, take you about 40 years. Again, just on a straight, no interest, just putting it aside. Now, obviously we can gain some interest in there. It'll cut those years down. But again, if you want $40,000 lifestyle, you get to 800,000. It only takes 15 years, 16 years to get to that same place of 800,000. That could be your financial independence number also. Just understand, ladies and gentlemen, there is a number that you can get to. Now, let's break down how we get there from an investing standpoint. Here's something we always break down for people is a great saving strategy. They don't teach us this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. They don't teach us this until you sit down with a financial professional. Normally, we don't have a system or a foundation for how we go out and build. I'm going to take you through a simple saving strategy, saving and investing strategy that's going to help you build foundation. First thing we got is short-term savings. 3 to 6 months, preferably 6 to 12 months of your income set aside, labeled emergency that you don't touch. We're headed into a recession, ladies and gentlemen. Some of y'all have the skill set to know how to make money in it, but many people don't. The key is having 6 months worth of your income set aside, labeled emergency. I say income, not expenses. You'll hear it both ways. Here's why I don't say expenses, because your expenses should be lower than your income, right? Your expenses, you should be spending less than you're making, hopefully. So if you only saved up 6 months worth of your expenses, and then you lost your job, something crazy happens, you have a setback financially, we all know how it goes. You don't have 6 months to live because you only have 6 months worth of expenses. You still got overhead over top of your expenses, right? You want to eat, you want to go out, you got things. So you might only be able to last for 4 months on that or 3 months. So that's why the key is getting to 6 months worth of your income set aside, labeled emergency. Don't worry about gaining interest in this account, ladies and gentlemen. Hear me say that again. Don't worry about gaining interest inside of this account. This is one of the myths, one of the fallacies that we hear out there in the world around money. That, oh, if your money's just sitting in the bank and it's not working for you, you're losing money. Yes, but no. Yes, but actually, until you get to 6 months, you have to put it in the bank because that's your emergency fund. The key to investing, ladies and gentlemen, the key to investing is never having to sell your investments. That's how you build wealth. Okay. The key is buying assets and never selling them. Find anyone that's super successful and wealthy. That's what they'll tell you. I held on. They'll tell you stories like, I held on to these properties through 20 years, through recessions, through blah, 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 blah. I bought a bunch of stuff when it was a down market and I held on to it forever. And now it just appreciated. That's how you build wealth. What stops people from building wealth is because 5 years from now, you're going to have a setback. Somebody's going to die. You're going to have a car accident. You're going to lose your job. This is life, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's going to happen. And what it's going to do is going to set you back financially. And if you don't have an emergency fund, you're going to pull out of your investments. That's what happens. We have parents. I work with parents that want to pass houses down to their kids. The stat says 85% of children that inherit houses sell them. Why? Because they need the money. They don't care about the asset. They need the money because they're not in a good financial position. So they sell it. We're not going to do that because that's not how we build wealth. We're just starting back over from zero with a little bit of money. So that's why you got to have 6 months worth of your income set aside in the bank, labeled emergency, that you never touch. That is your emergency fund. Put it in the bank, put it in online savings, put it in the safe, doesn't matter. Then you got your midterm investing. You got your midterm saving and investing. This is a 2 to 10 year strategy. These investments are usually in the stock market, your high risk or high reward type of investments. This can go to vacations, big purchases. Really, this is where you build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. I put it in there. The midterm is wealth building, where you get specialized knowledge. So this is what y'all do. The stocks, bonds, mutual funds, brokerage accounts, trading, options, all that stuff. ETFs, index funds, REITs, other asset class investing, all of that falls in a midterm investment. 2 to 10 years. Every couple years you're evaluating. Every so few months you're looking at it, you're saying, should I sell this? Should I get rid of this? Should I flip this? That's a midterm investment. High risk, high reward. Key is you need specialized knowledge. Nobody really builds a ton of wealth in that area if they don't know anything. For most people, they just stick to short and the last one, which is long-term. This is what a lot of people know. That's your 10-year, 15-year, 20-year investment. It's your nest egg. It's the thing that you say, hey, if shit hits the fan, I don't do everything right, I mess up on some of my investments, I at least know I have that down there. You have to have that, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you build wealth. I work with people in their 50s that do not have retirement because they've made bad investments, they've had setbacks, all these things, they're not building wealth. So you got to have a long-term strategy. You got to take advantage of compound interest, which means you're just setting it away and never touching it, just letting it grow. And you need safety and growth. If you're going to risk a bunch of money, do that in your midterm. Your long-term needs safety. You need some safety there because you can't just be gambling all your money away and now going through what people in their late 50s are going through right now because the market is down, because we're heading into recession. They're trying to retire. All their money's tied up in the market. I told this to Karina, we were just on the thing. I literally had a client lose $30,000 in 3 months since he waited to not do business with me. I have a colleague that I wish I could pull this up and show you. His client from January to now in his 401k went from 600 something thousand to 440,000. He lost $150,000 this year, like 30% of his money in his retirement account because it's all variable in risk in the market because they never taught us how to secure our money long term. When we're in these types of products, we're talking about Roth IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, all that stuff at the job. and cash value life insurance. Cash value life insurance is one of those things that flies under the radar because Wall Street doesn't tell us about it. Your job don't tell you about it. But it's how wealthy people have been building wealth for a very long time. And I'll show you in the next couple slides the benefits of it because it's tax-free. That's what you look for. Anyway, this is a saving strategy. This is an investing strategy. Short, mid, long. Short term in the bank, don't worry about interest, but you need that there, guys. You need that there. I'm very hard on people. I let them know you should not even really be investing if you don't have savings. I have a clip on one of our Instagram pages that's Mark Cuban saying that. Wealthy people know this stuff. They just don't tell us this stuff because it's basic. It's 101. It's like, yeah, dummy, of course you should have money saved before you go risk all your money in the market. They just don't say it. But we're trying to get to the bag so quick that we neglect the boring stuff that actually builds foundation. We try to go make millions of dollars. We got to switch how we're thinking about it. Get to that 6 months worth of your income set aside. If that's a struggle for you, I'll show you how you're going to get there, right? I'll show you later how you get there. Then the next thing is you need long-term. You need short and long set up. Your short gives you safety. Your long gives you security. Foundation.
That's a bar, Chris. That's a bar.
There's
Say
gonna
that.
be a lot
Wait a
of-
minute. Wait a minute. Say that again, bro. Say it again, bro. Let that
Yeah.
click for a second. What you say?
Yeah, your short-term savings, that's what's going to give you your safety. That's your safety net. But your long-term is what gives you security. That's what lets you know, like, I'm working hard. I know I'm going to have some money there. I'm going to have something to retire. Those two parts of your financial life, foundational. Technically, you should be setting up your long-term and setting up your short-term and your long-term before you play in the midterm. That's where most people get it wrong. That's why we make a bunch of money and lose a bunch of money and start right back at zero every 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We don't build wealth that way because it's a slow process to building wealth. We want it fast. It doesn't work that way. Short and long, hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars a month being put away short and long. Here's the key. Once you get to 6 months in your short term, you don't have to put another dime in the bank. Now everything goes towards investing. You see, you can oversave. You don't have to just keep stacking it in the bank, but you have to have the short-term 6 months because that's going to save you from pulling out of investments when your business goes down or you lose the job or you do the bad, whatever. You can at least go to money that's not doing anything and use that money and let your investments keep growing. That's the goal. So again, foundation, short first, long, then we come get specialized knowledge and do the midterm. That's proper foundation. That's a great strategy that you can use forever. That's going to help you continue to build. If anything is a little bit off, if you're putting too much into midterm and your short and longs aren't good, take a step back. Take a step back and say, let me put some more short. Let me put some more long. And then I'll come back and get my specialized knowledge to do what I need to do midterm. That's foundation. Let's talk about that long-term strategy. There's ways your money grows. There's two strategies we talk to people about all the time. It's market exposure and tax exposure, the things you need to know when it comes to building wealth. First, market exposure, how your money grows. Your money is either going to grow fixed, variable, or indexed. All the products that you have out there, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs at the bank, all types of stuff. It's only these three ways that your money is going to grow. First is fixed. Fixed is one rate all the way out. You get a CD at the bank, you put your money in a savings account, a high yield savings account, they're going to give you 2% forever. Market could do 20%, you're going to get 2. Market could do negative 20%, you're going to get 2. Doesn't matter. Very low, not going to gain a lot of money, but it's very safe. A lot of older people put their money in fixed accounts. Why? Because they don't want to risk it anymore. They just don't know that there's other things that could grow it. So they make sure that it's fixed, they get a little bit of money. Everything else we know is variable. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 403bs, 457 plans, TSPs, all that stuff they offer you at your job. All of it's variable. That means your money's invested in the market. If the market goes up, you're going to make money. When the market goes down, you already know what happens. You lose money. I just told you, had a guy lose this year $150,000. It's real life. People lose money all the time when it's variable. High risk, high reward. This is your midterm. That's why you play in the midterm. But we've been convinced to put it all long term. Wealthy people don't have 401ks, ladies and gentlemen. Like wealthy people don't just put money in IRAs and 401ks. That's a middle class thing because they've gotten us to risk our money to give it to Wall Street and all that stuff. But just know that is a way that your money grows. There's another side called index. Index strategy kind of gives you the best of both worlds. Gives you the best of both worlds, right? That index strategy says, hey, when the market goes up, you'll make money. But when the market goes down, they're going to lock you in. Market goes back up again, you make money. Market goes down, they lock you in. So index strategies guaranteed to never lose money. Why haven't you heard of it? It's because it's attached to 2 insurance products. One is called an IUL. Somebody just dropped that in the chat, I think, right? Yep, somebody just dropped that in, Zion just dropped that in the chat. Yep, IUL stands for Index Universal Life. It's a cash value life insurance policy that's in there that allows that money to grow, and you're not going to lose money. The other product is called an indexed annuity. An indexed annuity. This is for people that have lump sum money. You have lump sum money, you want to save it for a long time, like down the road, put it into this indexed annuity, make sure you never lose anything. It's going to give you gains in the market also. You can keep that thing all the way, kick it all the way down the line. Best part is that annuity works like a pension plan. So it'll pay you a stream of income for life if you choose to do it that way. But those 2 products, index strategies attached to them, come from insurance companies. Those are the only 3 ways your money is going to grow in anything that you choose to do long-term or short-term or mid-term for that matter, until you get into other asset classes. That's important to know. And if you had to choose, where would you put your money, right? If you had to choose, where would you put it? I know where it would be. You don't have to tell me, but it'd be index, I know. Here's another one, how your money gets taxed. Here's a question, ladies and gentlemen, I give everybody. Let's see if you know it. What's your largest lifetime expense going to be? Do you know that answer? Your largest lifetime expense, the thing you'll spend the most money on across the course of your life. What would you say? Home. Tina said a home. Asia said rent. Good. Those are towards the top. That's up there. Not number 1, though. What could it be? Largest lifetime expense. Over the course of our life, these are the things. Here we go. Rajay, is that Rajay? He said tax. Asia said taxes. They got it. Stephanie said taxes. I was kind of leading you by like being on the page, so I hope somebody would get it. But yes, that's the answer. The answer is taxes. Let's think about this from a 101 level. So you're not just hearing what I'm saying. Like, I'll prove it to you. We get taxed when we make money. We get taxed when we spend money. You get taxed when you save and invest money. So no matter what you do with your money, Uncle Sam's got to get his part of it, right? This is why the number 1 thing wealthy people think about is, how do I shield my money from taxes? That's why a couple years ago, we had the whole big stink with our president, Trump, not showing his taxes. Why? Because that's what wealthy people do. They don't pay taxes. I'll give you like the other side of it, right? Just so if anyone hasn't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, please read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read Cash Flow Quadrant so you can understand kind of how we make money in our society. But understand the tax laws are written for business owners. You say that again. Tax laws are written for business owners and investors. That's what tax laws are written for. So anybody that has a job might need it for a little bit of time, right? But just understand you're at a disadvantage for building wealth. That's why no one wealthy that you know has a job. None of them. They might have options. They might have stock options at a company that made them rich. But trading time for money and paying taxes before you get your money, that's the craziest part. You have a job, they got gross pay, they take out FICA, Social Security, Medicare, all that stuff, and then they leave you with net pay. So if your strategy is the government's going to get their money before I get mine for the rest of my life, no way to build wealth. Already not going to do it. So just understand that's how we get taxed when the money comes in. Then we go spend money. Your house has property tax. You'll pay the property tax as long as you had the house. You pay off the mortgage and still pay property tax. Your car registration is a form of tax. Check your cell phone bill, there's tax. There's food there. When you go buy food, there's tax on it. Everything that you go out and then spend money to do, got tax on it. So you're constantly paying that tax. You've been paying that tax every time you've been spending money. Then we go to save and invest money. And that's where we are here on the screen. We're talking about what vehicles are we going to save and invest money in? Well, you got to know. There's 3 ways your investments are going to get taxed. They're either going to get taxed now, they're going to get taxed later, or they could be tax advantaged. Tax now. These are savings accounts, CDs at the bank, brokerage accounts, trading accounts, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Every time you're in and out of a position, that is a taxable event. And it's taxed now when you made that. At the end of the year, they're going to send you a form that says, this is how much interest, these are the gains you made this year. And you have to claim that on your taxes this year. Just understand, that's how taxes work on the tax now side. You've already paid taxes on it because you already got it from your job. You go put it into your accounts, you go put it into a CD at the bank, you go trade it, and then you start moving the money. You're in and out of positions, you're opening, closing, right? You're going back. Each of those are taxable events. And at the end of the year, you got to claim your gains on the taxes, on your tax report, on your tax form that year. You got to pay taxes on that money. No tax benefit by trading, 0 tax benefit. Again, know what you do, know the skill set that you own, but understand why it doesn't necessarily mean that's how you build wealth, because you're getting taxed constantly. Then you got tax later. Okay, so that's tax now. Then you got tax later. Like tax later is going to be tax deferred. Tax deferred. So if you've ever heard that saying, tax deferred, here's what it means. It means the money that goes into these accounts right now, you're not paying any taxes on. But down the line, when you're ready to pull the money out, you'll be taxed at whatever your tax rate is when you pull the money out. Think about how crazy this is. This is 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, TSPs, 457, anything that's at your job. All this stuff works like is tax deferred. They might give you an option to do tax advantage, but most of it's tax deferred. So think of your check. You got gross pay. Then they take out FICA, Social Security, all that stuff, leaves you with net pay, right? So from gross pay, they're going to put money into your 401k, or technically you're going to put money into your 401k from gross pay. That means the money that goes inside that bucket has never been taxed. Then you're going to grow money in there, hopefully. Then down the line, the technical age, ladies and gentlemen, is 59 and a half. That's the technical age that they'll allow you to touch money inside of your 401k or IRA without penalty. If you touch the money before you're age 60, they're going to hit you with a 10% penalty from the government, straight from the IRS. 10% penalty right off the top, and you're going to get taxed at your federal and state tax bracket. So let's just say rough numbers. Rough numbers, you had a 28% federal tax bracket. Your state is 7% tax, right? 28 and 7, that's 35% tax. If you tack on that other 10% because you touched the money before you're 60, that's 45% of your money inside of your 401k, IRA, 403b going directly to the IRS. 45%. Here's the kicker. What do you think taxes are going to be when you're 60? Think they're going to be higher or lower? Definitely higher. You know that. You know it. Government's going to want more of our money. We're $30 trillion in debt, right? They're going to want more of our money. So now, even if you said, okay, I'm gonna put money into this 401k, tax deferred, and I'm not going to touch it till I'm 60, so I won't take that 10% penalty. What if they just raise federal and state taxes by 5% over the next 25 years? You're right back at the same 45%. You ain't getting away from it in that tax deferred side. Too many people in our society have been wooed into put your money in this 401k, IRA stuff. Don't work that way. We got to know money to understand if that's the right vehicle for us. The reason why you have a tax deferred product is because you make a lot of money and you want to lower your tax bracket this year. That's a reason to have a tax deferred product. If you know the tax laws and you understand tax brackets, what'll happen is you'll go up and say, hey, I make $175,000 a year. That's a 30% tax bracket, federal tax. But if I show that I make $160,000 a year, I'll go down to a 28% tax bracket. So if I could find a way to take that extra 15,000 or whatever numbers I said, 20,000, and put it into my 401k or my IRA, it's going to look like I didn't make 175. I only made 155. Now I'm at a lower tax bracket. Now I save taxes across the board. That's the proper way to use a tax deferred product like a 401k or an IRA. What doesn't make sense is putting $100, $200, $300 a month away in it. You put $3,600 a year into your 401k, you make $80,000 a year. It's going to make it look like you made what, 76? That ain't doing nothing for your taxes. But now all that money is subject to tax and a 10% penalty until you're 60. So that's why we talk about the other side, which is tax advantage, right? Tax advantage gives you the ability to say, hey, the money that went in this account already been taxed. And down the line, when I go to pull that money out, no taxes. No taxes on it. 2 products in there. Technically, there's 3. One of them is called a municipal bond. A municipal bond is not shown on the screen, but a municipal bond basically is just you're lending money to the government. Bond means lending, right? Basic money education. Y'all probably know this stuff. Y'all are in the markets. Stock, purchasing a company, piece of a company. Bond, lending money. Okay, you buy a Nike stock, you're buying a piece of Nike. You buy a US Treasury bond, you're loaning money to the US government so they can give you back some interest. That's what a bond is, okay? So there's a thing called a municipal bond. You can go to your local city or government and you can ask if they have a municipal bond. If they're trying to build a park or a bridge or a road or potholes or something, you can say, hey, I'll give you $5,000, and they'll say, this is what the bond is worth. It's worth 3% interest over 5 years. You're like, okay, here, take it. They give you 3% interest after 5 years. You take your money and keep it moving, but you're just loaning it to the city. But because you're loaning it to the government, they make it tax-free. So it's called a municipal bond. You can look it up. Not super lucrative because it's fixed. You're only going to get a couple percentage points on it, but still, it's a way to grow money tax-free. The other 2 that are here that everybody knows about, Roth IRAs, cash value life insurance. Aaron, you he's having a fit over here. He's having a fit. I told you this was the night to take your notes, guys. Like, this is money. This is money. I call this, like, again, the 101. This is the basic stuff, but this is the foundational stuff that'll help you get to everywhere you got to go. Come over here on the tax advantage side. Again, like I said, you're not paying any tax on the money as you pull it out. 2 things, Roth IRA, cash value life insurance. Roth IRAs. By the way, IRA just stands for individual retirement account. That's what IRA stands for, individual retirement account. Stephanie taking notes. That's what's up. Roth IRAs. The reason why it's good is because it's tax-free. That's why it's good. Tax-free on the back end. It's great. 2 downsides to a Roth IRA, because again, it's very popular. So I'll give you the downsides because they don't tell us the downsides. 2 of them. 1, you can only put away $6,500 a year. It was $6,000. They're changing it in 2023 to be $6,500. So that's the max you could put away every year, $6,500. Here's the real kicker for all of us that are building wealth. You have an income limit, meaning if you make more than $133,000 a year, you cannot have a Roth IRA. If you file taxes single and your adjusted gross income is more than $133,000 a year, if you file single, if any of you are married, it's like 189 or 190 or something. But if you make more than that amount, they will not allow you to put money into a Roth IRA. Roth IRAs are only meant for middle and lower income people to be able to grow money, tax-free. Because think about it, why would they give it to rich people? Like, why would somebody that's 500 grand be able to use a Roth IRA to avoid taxes, right? So they pitch it to people, middle and lower income, to be able to save some money tax-free, which is a good thing, but not for people that want to build wealth. Because what happens is, let's say you start your Roth IRA and 4 years from now, your income gets to 200 grand a year. Well, now you're back at square one because now you can't even put money into your Roth IRA. Now you still need a long-term vehicle to put money in. You'll still have that money. They just won't let you contribute to it anymore. So now you got to go off and find another long-term vehicle. That's why we talk a lot about cash value life insurance. because they call cash value life insurance the rich man's Roth. Wealthy people have been doing it for a very long time. So it's the only way to pass down tax-free money is in life insurance anyway. Everything else gets taxed by the estate. But there's a way to have the heading of life insurance and have a cash value savings growing inside of there. And that money that grows inside of there, when you go to borrow it, pull it out, tax-free. You could put away way more than 6,500 too. Depends on how much your coverage is, depends on how old you are. Life insurance only deals with age and health. So the younger you are, the healthier you are, the less you're going to pay. They might give you more room to put away more money. You might be able to put away 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a year. Long-term, tax-free, with the index strategy that guarantees you to never lose money. It's your long-term. We're not talking, right? We're talking foundations of how to build wealth, right? Foundation.
Hey, bro, hold on. Hold on.
I'm here.
Family, drop a 1 in the chat if you are catching what he's putting down, y'all. I just had to step in for a second because what he's giving you, he's telling you this is the basics, but if your head is spinning like mine was when I first hit the information, that means this was information that we should have learned when we was in school.
Yep.
Drop a 1 in the chat if you are getting what he's putting down. This is stuff that like most people don't know. But to him, it's the basics.
Basic.
But if your head right now is spinning from the basics, guess what your mind is doing? Your mind has forever been expanded.
Right.
And now it's time to fill that brain in with the information. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. When I first heard this and I reevaluated my entire way I looked at money, I promise you I'm doing research on cash value life insurances. And this is where you get your famous celebrities come out and say, man, if every Black person got a life insurance policy, then the insurance companies would do deeper investigations on these police killings. Why? He's telling you this is the reason why. This is the. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no. This runs
Hey,
super
Chris.
deep. What's up?
I don't want to cut your wisdom off, bro. But my name is Zion, bro. Nice to meet you, bro.
You too, Zion. Good to meet you, bro.
Likewise. I got one question, bro.
Shoot.
I'm guessing you've read the Tax-Free Millionaire book, huh?
I've read a lot of books, and yeah,
That's all I wanted to know, bro.
absolutely, right? Because success leaves clues, guys. Success leaves clues. There's a certain amount that, like, it's not new. It's just we weren't privy to the information, right? So people just talk about it differently. You got to find the information. We've just learned how to simplify it and give it to us, because everybody's not going to read a book. Hopefully y'all do, right? But everybody's not going to. So we just simplify it and make it easy for us to understand, right? So understand this stuff, and I appreciate y'all jumping in because I'm glad you're getting it. This is just the first time Aaron wanted us to show this to you because, again, he got his vision expanded. He got his mind expanded. But this is what we do all day long. I just do this for people. Karina just does this for people all day long because they need to know it, just like y'all do. So, again, how your money grows, how your money gets taxed. That cash value life insurance policy is a way that you can build wealth long-term. Don't have to worry about losing money. Make sure it's tax-free. Best part is it passes down generationally, right? We can dive into that on another topic, on another time. But I told you I'd give you the blueprint of how to build the foundation. Here's the foundation. This is it. These 6 things. We've made it simple for people to build a foundation. These are the 6 things that you got to pay attention to in your financial life in order for you to go off and build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. It's just these 6 things. It might be simple, but again, this is the 101. We don't always get this. We skip steps. We try to get to the 303 level of money, and we don't have the 101. So here's the 101. 6 things to pay attention to. Number 1, cash flow. What's coming in and what's going out of your financial life? Real basic stuff, guys. Real basic stuff. If I polled all of you, and I'm not going to like poll you right now, but if I did and say, hey, how many of y'all actively work on a budget, a written out budget of like where your money goes? Aaron does because we put him on to it. Exactly. Right. But before that, if I asked you, do you write it out? Like write it down every 2 weeks, every month. If I asked you how much last month did you spend on dining out? Can you give me an exact number? Can you tell me it was $500.25? It was $432.17. Or will you tell me it was a lot? It was a little? That's not bad. It's like step one for your money. Mentor of mine a long time ago, guys, told me you got to inspect what you expect. You got to inspect what you expect. If you expect to have money, you better inspect your money all the time. If you expect to build wealth, then you better be inspecting your wealth all the time. If we skip that step, if we skip the step of how to just inspect our money and just know what our own money habits are, there's no way we're going to go build wealth. How are you going to manage a couple $1 million in an account if you can't manage a couple $100 in an account? It doesn't get easier because there's more money. You have to work on these things. So that's the first area. We say, hey, what's coming in, what's going out? If out, this is how we keep more of our money. Most people have a cash flow issue in our country because most people either don't make enough or they spend it crazy and don't know where it's going. It's most people, right? So when we come in, we say, okay, let's first plug up the holes in your boat. That's a saying from my wife. I'm in business with my wife. She always says, small holes sink great ships. Small holes sink great ships. It's never the big stuff in our financial life. It's never the car. It's never the mortgage. It's never the rent. It's never the cell phone. It's never that stuff. It's the $12.10, the $5.15, the $8.10. It's that stuff that seeps out, that causes these little holes in our financial boat that we never plug up. So when you go make more money, your holes become bigger. Pause. Right? That's what happens, right? The holes in your boat become bigger. That's why I work with people. I work with people that make $300,000 a year and live paycheck to paycheck. It's real. There's a study out, an article from CNBC that said 36% of Americans that make more than $250,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. People are like, how could that be? It's because just because you know how to earn money does not mean you know how to keep money. So if you have bad spending habits without money, you're going to have worse spending habits with money. It's all just going to go out. So I would be remiss, and anybody that's in your platform or doing what you do, you'd be remiss to teach them how to go make money if you don't teach them how to keep it. Right? Like that's the goal. Make it, but keep it. Like don't have holes in your boat. Track your money. Know exactly where it's going. And then go out and make all that you want to. A mentor of mine in this business, right? He would mentor me. He told me, Chris, the reason why I got wealthy is because when I was really crushing it in the business and I was pulling in 80 grand a month, I lived in a condo where my condo payment was $580 a month. He was like, I was making 80 grand a month and living in a place that I spent $580 for. Most people don't have the discipline to do that. He was like, I was single. I was working. What did I need a place for? Why would I go buy a house? Why would I do any of that? It doesn't make sense. And he was like, that was the thing that set me apart. So do you have the ability to make a lot of money and keep your expenses real low? If you have that ability, that's how you build wealth. If every time you make more money, you spend more money, and then you make more, and you spend more, and you make more, and you spend more, it's not how we build wealth. It's not the foundations. If every time you bring in more money, you deserve a better car, every time you make more, you deserve a better trip, you deserve a better vacation, you're falling into the trap. Wealthy people don't do that. So we got to understand, plugging up the holes in our boat, paying attention to the money that's flowing out, and then going out and making more money and keeping more of the money that we're making. That is step one in building a foundation. You got to know your cash flow inside and out. I've been tracking my money for 6 or 7 years now. I don't work on a budget, right? So I'm an entrepreneur, so I just go make more money, right? I don't need the budget stuff. I know where I spent and I know when I need to make more. So I go make more. But I know exactly where everything goes. I know exactly how much my wife spent on Amazon last month. I know exactly how much. I track it every time. Okay? That's how well you got to know your money if you want to go off and build wealth. That's foundational. Number 2, the emergency fund. We talked about that already with that saving strategy. Short, mid, long, right? Remember? But short, that's your emergency fund. That's your 3 to 6 months, your 6 to 12 months set aside, labeled emergency that you don't touch. That's important to make sure that's there before you go off and do all the other stuff. Because again, foundational. Number 3, debt. Here's something that might be big for some of y'all. Credit card debt, personal loans, student loans, medical bills, the stuff that starts piling up. It's real easy for us to get into debt, real hard to get out, especially because they don't teach us. especially because they don't tell us how interest works, especially because we don't know the interest rates to our credit cards or to our loans. We just know the monthly payment. Well, that's how they get you. They take advantage of people that don't understand money. So we got to get a solid strategy of how to get out of debt. If you have high interest credit card debt, things like that, we got to know exactly what to do. Here's what most people do to get out of debt. They pay a little bit over the minimum on all their credit cards, right? Minimum's $25. I'm going to pay 40. I don't pay the minimum, right? People be like, it's such a disgrace to pay the minimum. I don't pay the minimum. I pay 37. Like, no, it doesn't matter, right? That's not the strategy. Strategy is if you got 3 credit cards, you line them all up, you find out exactly which one has the highest interest rate. You pay as much as your budget can handle that one card. You pay the minimums to all the other ones until that card is paid off. Once that card is paid off, you take that same amount that you were paying to that card, you roll it and pay off the next card, pay the minimum to that last card. Don't pay a dime over the minimum. Do that again, roll that into it. You'll be out of debt in a strategic way, depending on how much your debt is and how much you can throw towards it. That's a real strategy that we teach people how to get out of debt. You can use it yourself. But that debt part is important. So that 1 through 3 side, cash flow, emergency fund, debt management, when it comes to foundation, this is the 101. This is the 101, right? We got to make sure that stuff is in place for us so that we can go off and start building. 4, 5, and 6 on this list. Number 4 is proper protection. That's all of your insurances. We take a heavy approach in life insurance. Karina and I do. She's licensed. We're licensed in this side, right? So we have insurance licenses. We're financial professionals on that side. We help with life insurance, disability, long-term care, living benefits. This is an area many of you may have not thought about, but it's important. A colleague of mine always says we're one medical diagnosis away from financial ruin. We all have somebody in our family that their finances got completely torn apart because somebody got sick, because somebody got in an accident, somebody, right? Then all of a sudden they can't work. Now their debt goes up. We've all seen somebody pass away. They have to do the GoFundMe and all the, right, all the other stuff that they have to do. But what if we did put that life insurance in place? Not to mention, just for the coverage part of it, somebody has $1 million of life insurance protection, your family's going to be okay. You do the right things. I always tell people there's 2 products that you need to build generational wealth. Only 2 products to build generational wealth. 1, life insurance. 2, a trust. If you have life insurance and you have a trust, you can build generational wealth. You don't have to build a business. You just got to pay your life insurance policy till you pass away, right? For the rest of your life. Because what will happen is, let's say you get a big enough life insurance policy. Let's say you get a $2 million life insurance policy. Let's say you keep buying life insurance policies as you make more money. So now all of a sudden you got $3, $4 million of life insurance protection. You know you're going to die at some point, but the beneficiary of that life insurance is a trust. It's a trust. It's a lockbox for all your assets. So instead of it paying out a human being and paying a person, it's going to pay an entity. It's going to pay a trust. You ever heard of trust fund babies? That's what happens. People pass away. There's money and assets left in the trust. And then there's someone that tells that person when they can access that money, called a trustee. Those are only 2 things you need to build generational wealth. Only 2 things. But we don't understand it. When's the last time you got a life insurance education? Right? They don't teach us this stuff, right? So that's what we come in and do. Let's teach you about insurance, make sure you got the coverage. 5th thing, building wealth. We talked about that. Long-term investing. I just showed you the strategies. Fixed variable index. What are we looking at? What are we doing long-term? How are we avoiding taxes? That's a part of your foundation. And then the 6th one, preserving wealth. I just touched on it. That's a will and a trust. Again, you might not be thinking about this right now, but this is a part of your financial foundation. I think I just read it. It was a different website. It was a shadier website. So I didn't confirm it, but I think I read an article that said Offset or Takeoff. Yeah. He did not have a will. Did not have a will when he passed away. Now, in Georgia law, because he passed away, his estate goes to his mother and father, but his mother and father aren't together. So now they're beefing over his estate. And now cousins are starting to come up and say, no, we deserve some of this. We deserve some of it. Okay. That's what happens when you don't have an estate plan. You don't have a will. You don't have a trust. All the things that you work for will go to probate. That's actually how the process works. People don't know this. But let's say you have 2 houses, a business, 401k, bank account. You don't have a will. You don't have a trust. You don't have anything. You pass away. No one has access to any of your stuff. Not your parents, no one. The government comes and takes it. It's called probate. The government will come in, they'll seize all your assets. Then your family has to go to probate court and say, no, that was my son, that was my daughter, that was my sister. Like, right? She never will, but like, we're her family, da, da, da. And the judge will determine who gets your assets. That's how it works.
You know how crazy that is? Like, come on, guys. Y'all heard the quote unquote woke term modern day slavery? That's it right there. How could you ever allow the government to tell your mom and dad or your kids, hey, I know he was a good dude. I know he was a music artist, but it's the law. It's the law. You got to now argue and prove that you deserve. Heck no, bro. This is what Chris is telling us, guys. I know we're not there. I know some of us are not even there. Some of us are right now in 1, 2, and 3, and that's me. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm in 1, 2, and 3 right now.
It's most people, bro. It's most people. They just don't want to admit it a lot of times. They just want to talk about the high level concepts of how to go build wealth. But most people, I sit down with people every day of my life. Most people, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s are at 1, 2, 3. All of them. 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Come on now.
Top 1% makes $500,000. Like, most people are not doing well, guys. Don't get fooled by social media and the people that you see potentially making money. It's not what is happening. I promise you, I've been doing this almost a decade. I get a chance to lift up the hood under people's financial life. Real people, nurses, attorneys, doctors, parents, teachers, us, all of us. And it's all the same shit every time. They don't budget their money. They don't know where their money goes. They don't make enough money. They don't know how to save. They're in debt. All the same shit. But yet they're trying to say, hey, I got this $10,000. Like, what should I do with it to be rich? Nah. You don't even know how much you spent last month on food. Like, don't ask me about that. Let's stay here. Right? So again, it's across the board. Understand, we're all starting at the same spot. We just got to get y'all to see that. Like, everybody's starting at the same spot. It's all good. But this is how we build. It takes a long time to make a lot of money. It's what Steve Harvey said at InvestFest. He said, it takes a long time to make a lot of money. It's true. Most people hit their wealth stride in their 50s. I know you might see some people hit it early, but the majority of people that build wealth hit their wealth stride in their 50s. It takes a long time to make a lot of money because you got to build foundation, because you got to learn, because you got to understand how to do it so that even if you take a step back, you'll keep moving forward. So anyway, these are 6 things, guys. Imagine your cash flow is amazing. You got an extra $10,000 coming in over top of your expenses every month. You got 6 months income set aside. You're out of debt. Your income is properly protected in case anything happens to you. You're building wealth in the right places, and you can pass it down, like generationally. You can actually give what you have to the next generation. That's how you have a foundation. Then from here, we go build. We talk all the other things. Here's all the other things. I'll give it to you real quick, right? This is my last slide because I know I'm dropping a lot. Your heads are going to hurt after this. Here's the next, here's the actual 202, 303 level of money. We have to go from income and expenses to assets and liabilities, okay? The 101 of money is income and expenses. That's the 1, 2, 3 side that I just showed you. Y'all got to figure out, how am I making more money? And then how do I limit my expenses? And how does this work so I can keep my cash flow good? That is step 1 of understanding your money. Once you master the income and expenses, then we're getting to the assets and liability stuff. Then we're getting to ownership. Then we're getting to net worth conversations. That's the 202, 303 level of money. Here's the wealth formula. Follow me, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the wealth formula. This is how to build wealth. You might have heard this before, but you got to put it all together. You got to take your income, purchase assets that create you more income. That's wealth. Take your income, however you're bringing it in, purchase assets that create you more income. That's how to build wealth. Remember what I told you in the beginning, the reason why that short-term savings is important is because at a certain point in time, your income won't help you buy more assets because maybe you don't have savings, maybe you lost your job, whatever the case is. So then you got to stop buying assets. You might have to sell an asset. That's not how we build wealth. Income purchases assets. Those assets create us more income. So knowing that's the formula, here are the 5 asset classes. This is where I'm gonna leave y'all, because again, it's the 202, 303 side. 5 asset classes. If you ever hear wealthy people say, I'm diversifying my assets, we're diversifying our assets. It doesn't mean inside of your 401k, you got large cap stocks and small, medium cap stocks. That's not diverse. That's diversification inside of your product. But asset diversification comes across these 5 areas. 1, cash. Cash is an asset class. Right now, it's not doing well, right? The dollar is not doing well. Inflation is high. This is why over the past year or two, we've seen everything else raise up, because wealthy people have moved their money from cash into all the other assets. You all know wealthy people move the market makers, right? Like they move the market. So when a bunch of wealthy people and hedge funds, they have all this cash, which is an asset, they're like, this ain't good. Inflation's going up. Man, let's go dump it into something else. And then all of these other markets started rising up. So you got the equities market. That's ownership of a business. Equities means ownership of a business. There's different ways to think about this, though. It could be in the stock market. It could be inside of the market where you're passively, right, kind of investing in businesses, but it could also be startup funding or money invested into your own business, right? I'll be honest, I don't do a lot of stock market investing. I actually don't do any stock market investing. I have a couple things, right? Like I got real basic stuff. For a guy that's in finance, just understand I got real basic stuff. I hold a couple shares of Facebook just because I wanted to prove a point that it was going to last long term. It's not looking good right now, but I hold some of that. Play in the top 2 crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Been doing that for some time. That's about it. Long-term money goes into an IUL. Short-term savings, good. The rest of our money goes back into our business. Our business is an asset. So think of the wealth formula. The income I make buys more assets in my business, which creates me more income. How do I invest in my business? Marketing, team. I got 3 virtual assistants. I got staff that I pay. I got a marketing lead. Monthly, I'm coming out like two grand in staff. I got real payroll. That's investment. Why? Because it grows our business. That brings me more money. Anyway, equities. That is ownership of a business. Lots of ways to do it. 3rd, fixed income or lending money. You know you can be a lender, right? You know you can get $100,000 on the side and be like, hey, if somebody needs 20 grand, here you go. I need 20% interest. It's called hard money. You can go to a website called Lending Tree or Lending Club. I think it's Lending Club. Can't remember, but one of those, Lending Tree or lendingclub.com. And if you have 10, 20, 30, $40,000 midterm investment, you want to go buy some debt, right? You want to pay for somebody's car note or pay for somebody's credit card debt or whatever. You give them that 20,000, they'll pay you 3% interest monthly. And then after 3 years, they'll pay you back your 20 grand. You can be a lender. You can actually go out and lend money. That's a whole side. One of my mentors is a lender to third world countries. He's a lender to third world countries. He has so much money that third world countries come to him and he will loan them a few $1 million. Fixed income. Just makes interest off of it. Then you got real estate. Everybody knows real estate. Everybody understands ownership of a physical space or land or whatever you want to do on the real estate side. That's another asset class. Then you got commodities. Corn, oil, wheat, gold, right? Things that have an actual like physical goods, like goods. There's a market for everything. If you had the in on the orange market in Florida, like the oranges, like it's a season where the oranges aren't good, like you could like invest in the orange market, right? And make money on commodities. Real rich people, they own oil wells. They own gold mines, right? Things like that you can invest in. These are the only asset classes though. Crypto might come out as its own, but right now it falls under kind of equities and commodities, kind of a little bit of both. but it might be its own. But outside of that, this is how you build wealth. This is it. Think about what I told y'all. Short, mid, long. Short, long, this is your mid. This is where you get your specialized knowledge. If it's trading for y'all, then it's trading. But just do that. And put more money into building, into learning and understanding trading. But if not, and you want to diversify your assets, one of these, if not two of these areas is where you want to focus. I personally like equities. I think business is the best way to build wealth. If you study success and you study wealth, 85% of wealthy people's money is held in some form of equity, some form of private business, some form of their own business, some type of stock, something like that. 85% of the wealth right there. Jay-Z, somebody I look up to in business, when he became the billionaire, looked at the rundown of how he got there, real estate was the lowest amount on his net worth sheet. He only owned like 50 million in real estate. All the rest of it, Duce, Rock Nation, right? All the businesses that he actually owns or is partner with is what actually built his wealth. You got to study success. There's no way to 1,000 times your real estate. You can't buy that real estate for 300,000 and that should become 30 million, right? Technically, maybe if you build it big enough, but most likely that doesn't happen. In a business, if you had $25,000 in 2011 when Uber went in its first round of funding and it went IPO, that $25,000 would have turned into a couple million for you. We just weren't around at that time. You weren't hanging out in Silicon Valley. You didn't have the money at that time. But now if you have the money, you should be looking for that. You should be hanging around the entrepreneurs. You should be hanging around the people that are like, oh, I might start a business. Oh, really? Cool. If now all of a sudden you got some money on the side, well, you invest in the right business and the right person running that business, and all of a sudden in 5 years, they go off and sell that thing. You just took your 20,000 to 800,000 in one move. In business, you only got to be right once. In business, you only got to be right once. You can guess 5,000 times. You only got to be right once. Game over. That's why I like business. But you can build in all these asset classes, guys. This is the 202, 303 level. Just remember, income purchases assets. Those assets create you more income. I gave you a lot. I'm done.
That mic drop. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Stop playing. Hey, look, I know some of us are at work driving forklifts.
Who is
That's my girl Stephanie right there. Hey, family, guys.
Stephanie.
That right there, yo, can we just put mic drops in the chat? Oh my, that was an hour and 30 minutes of straight stew. Like nonstop. There wasn't those ahs, uhs. He didn't even say you feel me? Nothing. That was straight bars. And you know what's crazy? This is surface level. This is surface level for all my people who do personal development. I'm talking about like my people who watch Earn Your Leisure, 19 Keys, these wealth billionaires, and these people. I'm gonna tell you right now, these people who get on podcasts and they're like, yeah, man, you know, I'm at $1 million. You know, your little TikTok people that be like, oh, here's I'm gonna show you to make 0 to 10K, but everybody's looking for the quick flip. This right here, guys, we are in the right space. When we talk about we're in the right environment, you guys just listen to a gentleman for an hour. Not one person left the call. Did y'all peep that? Not one person left. That means what this shows everybody in this family that we all needed that. Real talk. I ain't gonna lie. My ego got shot when I first met him because I thought I was doing something because we know how to trade. I'm trading NAS, US 30, and I'm making bread. I'm traveling the country. Then he sat me down and said, go through my budget. And I literally almost cried because I was like, wow, this really opened me up. So family, understand. That's like Tia Bolden, Dr. Spiller, these big guys. Yeah, they got that bread, but we all are right there. We're right there. Some of us are about to go try to hit chairman, platinum 2000, platinum 3000, residually every single month. Now imagine this is the next level. This is the next level. Okay, now you know you have the job. All of us got jobs. My man Steve at his job right now. Now we know how to trade. We're learning the skill set of trading. Like he said, specialized knowledge. We're getting that right in this space. And now we take it further and do what this man just said. Now when we look 2-3 years later and your friend's like, you still do that trading thing, and you can be like, I'm doing the life thing. My life is right. Guys, imagine all of us, like, if we really want to, I'm just talking, let's talk one example of a big play idea. All of us got an IUL. All of us. 30 of us got an IUL for $1 million. We give it 2 to 3 years. All of us pull out 30 grand. 30 of us with 30 grand. What's that? 3 mil? Yo, Chris, we got 30 people with $3 million. We want to put it in an asset class that can give us interest 5% for the next 5 years. Now, all of us are making 5% together. That is generation. That is wealth in the community. Look at this is what we're talking about. This is when you tell your homeboy in the community, bro, we just found the play to get us free. This is the knowledge you tell them. Trading's extra. This is the stuff that they really need to know. All the people getting killed. Think about the 3 football players that just got in UVA. They just got killed at UVA. What if all 3 of those football players that got killed at UVA, which is such an unfortunate thing, rest in peace to them brothers, they all had life insurance policies at football players in college. The dude who's that suspect, oh, their families paid. Those student loan debts that they pulled to get them kids to school, hey, now the family don't have to grieve as hard. They can go get that casket that costs 30 grand. So family, Chris, I do not have the words to just tell you how grateful I am. And I don't think the words that everybody in this call is grateful. Karina, you as well, like, understand the fact now, know who y'all are has forever changed our lives for the road. And I met you, Chris, 2 to 3 months ago. Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, everybody on this call, you need to be blowing Chris's up phone, Karina's phone. Be like, yo, I need a meeting. Yo, I trade and I love trading, but I'm trying to take hey, look, I'm a mom right now. I got 2 kids. How can I get my kids right? This is where you take your trading and now you make your money and give it a direction. Now your purpose is way different. Now your purpose is way different now. You was like, yo, I want to provide for my family. Okay, let's really provide for your family. Let's get that trust and that will right. Let's get that insurance policies right. Where do we need to go? Let's get these 3 to 3. Let's get the 3. They're dropping their IGs right here. IGs are in the chat. I'm telling you right now, get a meeting with these guys. And I'm gonna be very transparent. Sit back and shut up. You don't know until you know. I thought I knew. Now I'm way smarter about my finances, especially when I'm about to go to this World Cup. Now I'm way smarter about my money. Now I don't ever have to worry about nothing no more. So thank you guys so much. Can we please drop some thank yous one more time in the chat for Chris and Karina? I know they gotta go. It's late. It's 11 over in the East Coast, 10 here.
We do
All right,
this
guys,
all
please,
night. Aaron, we do this
Good.
all night, bro. We do this all
We
night.
could be
Listen.
here. I was gonna open up the floor for some questions. Honestly, I know we talked about a lot, right? Chris gave a lot. He gave a lot of game. Honestly, he went through the 101, 102, even the 103 level of investing. Granted, we're probably all at a 101 level. But Chris kind of said this in the beginning. The only way to win the game is to know the rules, right? You've been given the game, we've been given the rules. This isn't just a knowing type of conversation. Really want to help people do, right? Because to know and not do is like not knowing at all, right? So definitely reach out to us, definitely get connected to us. Of those 6 things, what is it that you really want to focus on, right? The key to success, the key to any goal is clarity. So let's help, kind of provide that clarity to, of those 6 things, what do you need? Maybe it's all of them. At some point, it is going to be all of them. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or drop.
Real quick, Tim, I saw it in the chat. Tim said, how do I make my will official? Tim, you just got to get it notarized. It's technically official as soon as you write it down. If you have one, it can literally be on a piece of paper, but the best thing is to get it notarized. And then it becomes an official document. It doesn't even need to be typed as long as it's notarized. And then he asked, how do I find my overall debt? That's something that you got to go into wherever you know you have active debt. So I help y'all, right? There's active debt, there's inactive debt. anything that hits your credit that goes into collections is inactive debt, right? Once it hits collections, meaning, right, some of y'all might know this, some of y'all might not. The way that it works, you got a credit card. Let's say you owe money to Capital One. You don't pay any money to Capital One. They keep calling you. You owe us money. You owe us money. You owe us money. You never answer. After about 6 months, they sell your debt to a collection agency. So an agency comes in and says, right, hey, Karina owes us, right, $500. She's not paying us. The collection agency comes in and says, okay, cool. We'll pay you $300 for that debt. They buy that debt for $300. Capital One wipes off Karina's names, like, all right, she doesn't owe us anything. Now your collection agency is calling you saying, hey, you owe a debt to Capital One. It's $500. You don't got to pay them because technically they only paid $300 for it. So you don't owe it to anybody, actually. That's inactive debt. You just sit that aside and we'll come back around to it eventually. If you have active debt, things you're actively paying on, active credit cards, active loans, things that are active, you just got to go and log into those accounts and find out how much you owe on those accounts. If you don't know what you have, there's a website, annualcreditreport.com. Let me make sure that's right. Hold on. Yep. Is it annual? Is that right? Yep, that's right. Annualcreditreport.com. I'll leave it in the chat. Annualcreditreport.com gives you the ability to download your credit report on all 3 credit sites. And when you pull the report, not the score, right? It doesn't matter about the score. It matters about the report. What it'll show has been registered under your name with your social and your date of birth, all those things. That will show you where all of your active and inactive debt sits. Anything that's been run up under your social that is affecting your credit, it'll be on your credit report. That's how you'll find out kind of where all your debts are, and then you can figure out whether or not you want to pay it or not. Cool. He said he graduated with his associate degree, never paid it. It's probably just sitting on your credit report. Check, right? You can find out.
So somebody asked, what do you recommend for keeping track of a budget? So it's kind of 2 things, right? You can't budget without tracking, right? You got to know the numbers. You got to know what you've done. So we personally, and I'll just share my screen a little bit so you guys can kind of see how in-depth it is. We do have this super in-depth sheet. We have this super in-depth sheet kind of helping people look at, look at that, looking how to track so you can budget. And you can reach out to us. We kind of sit down with you one-on-one and break that down and take time to really look at it and see what stands out.
Yeah. And by the way, that's a great question. We always clarify, there's tracking and there's budgeting. Budgeting is technically your second step. If you ever hear people say like, I can't stick to a budget, it's because budgeting is normally the second step. It's forecasting what you want to do up front, like down the line. Tracking is first. If you don't know your money, you can't budget your money, right? If you just coming up with random numbers, like I want to spend $400 in this area, but really you spend $800 in that area, the budget's not going to work for you. So you got to track your money first, see exactly what you did spend, and then you can start forecasting what you want to be able to spend. So, cool.
There's another question here. I got a question about a credit card payment missed this portion. What's the best for monthly payments? So starts with knowing
your, go ahead, Karina.
I would say it starts with knowing your interest rate.
Mm.
Like that's the biggest thing. Like, what are you paying in interest? Because a lot of people will pay towards their credit card and you pay so little that you're not even paying above whatever your interest is. Some people can have $100, $150, $200 in interest and not even know it. So that's
it's 100% right. Also, Tina, if you missed that part of it, just go in and line up how many credit cards you actually have. If you just have one, it's easy, right? Just pay as much as your budget can handle after saving money, right? But if you have multiple credit cards, like Karina said, line up the interest rates and then pay as much as your budget can handle to one of the cards and only pay the minimums on the other cards until you pay that one off. And then you do the same thing to all the rest of them, right? Y'all can feel free to hit us up too. Again, we answer these questions one-on-one all the time. Like, this is what we do. It's not like we charge you anything. By the way, I didn't even mention that stuff, but like, we don't charge you for any of this stuff. All this stuff's free that we do, right? We found out there's only 2 reasons people don't work with us financially or work with any financial professional, because they don't have any money to do it, or they don't want to pay somebody, or they don't know who to go to, right? They just don't know who to trust and who can help them. So we make it real simple for people to be able to get their financial questions answered.
All free. All free. But yeah, this is recorded. I'll definitely get it downloaded, forward it to Aaron. He'll make sure he gets it to y'all. Reach out to us on social. Definitely reach out to us on social. I think that was it as far as questions. Thank you guys. You know, we stay strong. The whole literally haven't flinched. So you're thanking us. Thank you guys, you know, for taking the time, giving us your time, taking your financial life, your financial literacy, financial foundation serious, really. This hour and a half call just might change your life. I remember the first time I sat with Chris, I could honestly say it changed my life. Just like getting into IM was a life-changing moment for me. I definitely feel like this hour, this information was a big step in the right direction for every single person on this call. So thank you guys.
Yep. We appreciate y'all. Again, hit us up anytime we're around. Yeah, we appreciate y'all attention. Let us know what y'all need. We'll probably set up some time, maybe run back through, go a little bit deeper. If there's something that keeps resonating with y'all, maybe y'all want to see the IUL, you want to see some numbers, you want us to go in, we'll set up another one of these calls and just dive in, show you kind of the ins and outs, how that works. But really, it's just here to answer all your questions. But we appreciate y'all. Aaron, we appreciate you. Karina, like I said, I appreciate you. Everybody enjoy the rest of y'all night. Let's go out there. Let's go build it, right? I always tell people, you deserve this. Whatever you're after, you deserve it. Whatever it is that you're chasing, whatever it is that you want to make happen, you deserve that thing. Know that you deserve it. Money doesn't go to people that deserve it. Money goes to people that believe they deserve it, right? Money doesn't go to just people that deserve it. Money goes to people that believe they deserve it. And so if you believe that you deserve it, you're going to get it. So go out there, make it happen, y'all. We'll get a chance to get back around soon. Take care.
Good night, y'all.